All right, last video of this amazing Monday. All right, so hopefully this video is helpful to those of you who are watching this. This video is going to be on unit conversions in the form of expression. So we're going to be writing an expression for a unit conversion. Yeah, let's just get into it. So number one, write an expression for the number of centimeters C to meters. So the first thing I want to think about is which one is bigger and which one is smaller. Or if at all possible, what is the ratio of them? Well, the ratio here is there's 100 centimeters to 1 meter. So this is smaller and this is bigger. All right, there is 100 centimeters to 1 meter. So if I want to take the centimeters I have and turn them into meters, let's say I have 300 centimeters. Well, if I have 300 centimeters, how many meters is that? Wouldn't that be 3 meters? If I have 100 centimeters per meter and I have 300 centimeters, well, that would be 3 meters. What's the math that you're doing there? The math that you're doing there is, oh, I have 300 centimeters and every 100 centimeters is going to give me 1 meter. So 300 divided by the 100 centimeters that are in a meter, that equals 3. So you get 3 meters. So that is division. So if I want to create an expression, I want to create C divided by 100 would give me meters. And that would work no matter what, right? What if I had 950 centimeters, right? What if I had 950 centimeters? So 950 divided by 100 would equal 9.5 meters. And is that correct? Yeah, it is. Checks out. So this is the expression. So what I really want you to remember right now is that when we go from smaller to bigger, we're going to be dividing. That's really important to remember. When we're going to go from small to big, that's division. So let's look at this next problem. Write an expression for the number of yards, y, to feet. Okay, well, let's think of a ratio here. There is 1 yard to 3 feet. So this is going to be bigger to smaller. That's the opposite of what we just did. So if this is the opposite, if we just did smaller to bigger, and that was division, but now we're doing the opposite of bigger to smaller, what's opposite of division? Multiplication. So this one would probably be a multiplication problem. But even without thinking about that, without knowing this and just looking at this problem, well, if I have, let's say, 3 yards, how many feet is that? 9. And the math that's happening there is 3 yards times 3 feet equals 9 feet. So it's multiplication. So the expression I could set up for this would be 3, and what do I want? I want to use y. So 3y. Because no matter what, how many yards I plug in, it'll work in. So what if I have football field? How many yards is a football field? Football field's 100 yards. So if I were to plug in 3 times 100 yards, oh, well, that's 300 feet. just in case you ever wanted to know how many feet a football field was, or at least from end zone to end zone, 300 feet, 100 yards. So 100 yards is 300 feet. And that makes sense, right? Because every yard is 3 feet, and you have 100 of them. So 100, it's basically 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, 100 times, right? So what's important to remember here? That when we're going bigger to smaller, it's multiplication. But when we're going smaller to bigger, it is division. So if we look at this next one, we can start doing this a little bit quicker once we have that. Okay, we are going from weeks, W, to days. So that would be weeks. So 1 week to 7 days. So this is bigger to smaller. So now that I know my rules, okay, bigger to smaller, that's multiplication. So I just need to know, oh, 7 days. So every week will give me 7 days. And that would make sense, right? Because if I want to, let's say there's 4 weeks in a month, okay, well, 7 times 4 weeks equals 28 days. Oh, it does. 4 weeks is 28 days. Checks out. I like it. A few more examples. Write an expression for minutes M to hours. So we have 60 minutes to 1 hour. So that is smaller to bigger. And smaller to bigger means multiplication. So this would be 60. Oh, wait, hold the phone. I'm messing up. Yes, I am. That's why you gotta remember your notes. Smaller to bigger is not multiplication. It is division. Smaller to bigger is division. Cross that guy out. It is M over 60. And this should check out because if I have 120 minutes over 60 minutes, that equals 2 hours. That checks off. I know, we should all know that 120 minutes is 2 hours. It is. So if I was to plug in, how many minutes? Well, nobody knows that. Nobody knows how many. I'm being a math teacher. Nobody else knows how many minutes are in a day. I was about to find out how many minutes were in 24 hours, but nobody knows how many minutes are in a day. All right, so anyways, that checks out. 120 minutes is 2 hours. A lot of people watch those 2-hour films, right? 120 minutes is 2 hours. So it checks out. Smaller to bigger is division. Let's check out this next one. We're going to go from inches to centimeters. Now, what's really important here is you need to know what the ratio is. So the ratio is 1 inch to 2.54 centimeters. So that means that there are this many centimeters in 1 inch. That means centimeters is smaller. So this is going to be bigger to smaller. And unlike here, right, smaller to bigger, division, this is bigger to smaller. This is the opposite. So this one's going to be multiplication. So we're going to use I. So we have 2.54 I. All right, and maybe I should square that off. That's the answer. So 2.54 I. And that should make sense because let's say we have, just in case anybody ever wanted to know, 12 inches. So let's find out how many centimeters are in a foot, right? We do 2.54 times 12 inches, and that would give us because everybody wants to know how many centimeters are in a foot. 30.48 centimeters. Right? Now, if anybody cares to do this, please go measure a ruler in centimeters, and I bet you will get 30.5 centimeters, right? Around 30 centimeters, 30 to 31 centimeters, all right, depending on how good you are at measuring and whether your ruler is accurate or not. I hope this is helpful. Key things to remember. Key things to remember are big to small means to multiply, and small to big means to divide. Key things to remember: big to small, multiply; small to big, divide. All right? So, thank you for watching. This is my last video for this Monday. I'm gonna head home. So, have a good night, or day, or morning.